of justice. It just screams obstruction of justice, and that, at the end of the day, is his biggest legal challenge.
Yeah, and it's not just that Trump signed a bill to make the penalties tougher for people mishandling classified information. Let's recall, of course, that the entire 2016 campaign was about that, with Trump denouncing Hillary Clinton's efforts at doing the same. I mean, you're right in that Trump's arrogance could have been, frankly, a possible, plausible defense for part of this. Those of us who have spent time with Trump, who have covered Trump, all who have spent time at his properties, know that he is a pack rat, that he grabs souvenirs. He likes to put things up on the wall, sometimes even fake magazine covers, that he likes to show off to guests. I've said on the show before, as part of a group of reporters that he at one point brought into the Oval Office and was showing off the Kim Jong-un letters, documents that we should not have been seeing, ones the National Archives has retrieved, and that the problem he's now in are the shifting explanations and the shifting lies. The fact that he and his attorney, some of whom are going to have to recuse themselves from the case because they themselves could be in legal trouble, have not been able to get their stories straight, because the approach that he used as president, in terms of just throwing things up against the wall, various excuses, various explanations, hoping one would fix, that might work in a political context. You might get one or two of those to break through on Fox News, in the conservative media, and be amplified to muddy the waters. That doesn't work in the legal context. In fact, that only makes it more damaging. As an example, for a while they were saying he had declassified everything. Well, we just saw the picture put up by the DOJ, that evidence photo, things split, those documents splayed on the carpets with the cover letters saying top secret or classified. If he had declassified them, that would have been marked on the cover. It would now say declassified. That stamp would have been there. Of course, we're not seeing any of that. So it is his lies and shifting stories that have previously got him out of political trouble. This time has only increased his legal jeopardy.
Yeah, and more confirmation. You know, Willie, we've shown a clip of Karl Rove. We've shown a clip of Steve Doocy, just clearly saying what he's done is improper. I talked about earlier this week Ben Shapiro and Brit Hume telling Republicans, if you want to win the election, you need to put Donald Trump in your rearview mirror. We have Andrew McCarthy this morning, obviously a fierce Trump defender on legal issues, talking about how this is a serious obstruction case for the reasons that I just pointed out, that would not be difficult to prove, and suggesting that in the New York Post, suggesting that the DOJ, if not a slam dunk, pretty close to having a slam dunk case of obstruction that they could easily prove against Donald Trump now. And in the Washington Times, another very conservative publication, is the headline, "Why Donald Trump Will Soon Be Indicted." And it's by Andrew Napolitano. It gives me no joy to write this piece. Even a cursory review of the redacted version of the affidavit submitted in support of the government's application reveals that he will soon be indicted by a federal grand jury for 3 crimes: removing and concealing national defense information and giving NDI to those not legally entitled to possess it, and obstruction of justice by failing to return NDI to those who are legally entitled to retrieve it, which, again, just if you're keeping score at home, that's Fox News, the New York Post, and the Washington Times. 3 of the fiercest pro-Trump media outlets, all publishing pieces, are talking about how Donald Trump, first of all, had no right to have these documents, and secondly, that he's going to be indicted for obstruction at the very least.
Well, because this is undeniable. That photograph we've been showing is a crime scene, effectively. And just based on what the Justice Department has pushed out into public, what we know publicly, leads a lot of people to wonder how Merrick Garland could not indict the former president. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I know we're going to talk about this, Joe, but speaking of those publications, the Wall Street Journal just crossed with a new poll that perhaps shows the heavy implications of this politically on Donald Trump. We're seeing big numbers up for Joe Biden, widening his margin in a potential head-to-head with Donald Trump, and independents swinging massively toward Democrats right now.
NBC's Ken Delanian, thank you very much for coming on this morning with your insight. We appreciate it. And coming up, President Biden will deliver a major primetime address tonight on the battle for the soul of America.
Trademark